We put a chainsaw on an RC boat to make the world's first battle boat. Not only did we have to build a robotic chainsaw, we also had to design the boat itself, because for some reason, nobody makes an RC boat that's designed to mount a chainsaw to it. There's gotta be a reason this has never been done before, and today, we're probably gonna find out why. Because a lot can go wrong here. What if the boat doesn't float? What if the chainsaw doesn't actually saw? What if it punches a hole in the pool? At the end of the day, we have one main goal: demolish an old boat to prove that we are ready to go into battle. It all started with an Amazon special chainsaw. This bad boy is attached to a 4-bar mechanism. 1, 2, 3, 4, that we can actually control with an RC remote. At least that's what it's supposed to do, but we need to test this theory on our sophisticated test setup. So first we have to check to see if we can actually even control it. This guy right here should, and it does. It moves it up and down. But the scary part is that this button is supposed to make it go. Let's see. You wanna come try it? All right, let's see if it does it together. Oh man, oh, that's gonna work. All right, we're gonna scoot back a little. As soon as we knew this kind of worked, it was time to move on to the produce section for another test run. Okay, tap it, just tap it. Whew. Dude, it sliced into that so fast. Dude, look at that. And it was absolutely terrifying how fast it sliced through the apple. So we're being really careful to make sure the battery's disconnected anytime we go near the chain. Seriously, watch how quick it just shreds through this apple, and I don't think my hand would fare that much better, so I am going nowhere near it when it's energized. This is one of the craziest things we've ever designed, and it's also the scariest RC boat we have by a long shot, and we've made some pretty wild boats in the past, so do not try this at home. Now, we're not going to be battling a boat made of fruit, so for the next test, we needed a harder target. So we're going to see if we can cut this hard plastic dinosaur in half, because that's going to be a little closer to what we actually fight whenever we get into the battle boat situation. Ooh, it's ready to go. Let's see. Oh! Hang on. All right, I'm gonna try it a little slower, see if if we sneak up on it, if that gets it. Oh man, it's like hitting this. You can see the chain grabs it and sucks it right into the base, which jams everything up. That's not good. And if we don't get this fixed, we will not win a single battle. So it needs to be able to pull things in this way and stop them, but it can't keep hitting there because that's flipping this thing around. So I think I'm just gonna put some stops here temporarily. And then on the final design, I'll actually build that into the boat geometry. This excellent craftsmanship should do the job, right? Yeah. Just a little. Ooh! What'd it do? It did it again. Okay. Man, that was awful. And what was that weird squeak I made? Ooh! Something broke, so gonna have to fix that, fix some of that, see what happens. We'll be back. The chainsaw servo is fully stripped, so that needs to be replaced, but I also designed a flexible link between the servo and the chainsaw, kind of like a servo saver. That way it can flex whenever something kicks the chainsaw back. At lower speeds it works just fine. It's supposed to work like normal, but sudden load should just bounce the chainsaw back and keep the servo from stripping. Enough's enough, let's go find out if it actually does that. For this round of testing, I am using the 3D printed head from Spider Baby, which was a little creepy, but we're gonna be battling other 3D printed boats, so it kind of made sense. This test was a mixed bag, because the round shape kept us from getting a clean cut, but the flexible linkage did do exactly what it's designed to do, and it protected the servo. No more damage. So let's jump back into something a little softer, like this toy dinosaur. And this time it worked a lot better, but not perfect. The stop screws held it sort of in place and made easy work of this guy, but we have a battle to win. So our final improvement to the setup was a stop that also holds the item down. It was sort of hit or miss on whether it worked with this dinosaur. Sometimes it would just kind of shave it a little bit, and sometimes it would still get jammed up. It still didn't do great on Spider Baby though. At this point, I'm getting a little worried that we might struggle in battle, but I'm not worried enough to stop. We also had to design an entire new boat for this to go on, because as you might guess, a standard RC boat is not gonna do the job. We went with a catamaran style hull for stability. At least that's what it says on the internet, so we're gonna see what happens. It's 3D printed, obviously, and there's absolutely no armor on this thing, because the best defense is a good offense. We are putting all of our eggs in one basket. That's the chainsaw basket. I did try to stiffen the bottom with fiberglass so that it would help it hold shape, but it didn't stick at all, and it turned into a complete disaster. Fiberglass really shouldn't just peel up like that, but I think we'll be all right anyways, so let's just ignore it and pretend we didn't do this. Also, when I primered this thing, I forgot it in the sun and it warped like crazy. So not only am I worried about the chainsaw being able to properly dismantle our opponent, I'm not even sure if the boat will hold together. It looks terrible, but at least it's got a good side for the thumbnail. Next up, we slapped some electronics on this bad boy. You may recognize this motor from the SR71 boat in our last video. It's back in the ouch! Go! Find it! Go find it! Oh no! It's capsized! Oh my god, not again! Not again. But we're really hoping this time it does better. This is actually why we designed that outboard, and we just kind of said, let's see if it works on the SR71 boat last time because of how terrible that boat was. The drivetrain setup on this boat is super simple. It's literally a direct link between the motor and a sub-micro servo and a standard ESC controlling the brushed motor. I'm not sure if this even floats, so that's like the first thing we actually have to make sure actually works. Ooh, good. Now for the fun part. It actually moves around a lot better than I expected. It's way quicker. It'll like bounce around in here. This is the perfect arena for doing dumb things. It doesn't sit too low in the water either, and that is very good because we're about to add a ton of weight up front with the chainsaw. Not bad. That's not fast. That's for sure not fast. But that's as fast as we want to go because I want these things fighting each other. I don't want them running away. I don't want a bunch of scurrying off to safety. I want battles, and we want close battles. So I think this will encourage that. There's a lot more play in the steering pivot than I wanted, but it controls good enough, and we'll just tighten that up on the next build. It can also get completely swamped and keep running like nothing happened. I have a feeling this is going to be an important part of the battle. At this point, we know the chainsaw works, we know the boat works, but does the chainsaw boat work is one. After a bit of our finest mechanic work, it was time to find out. We don't know if this floats yet with all the chainsaw and stuff on there. Could just flip, and also we could pop this really quick. But you gotta start somewhere. Let's see what happens. Oh man, does it float? Okay, it floats. That's not bad. All right, now try and turn. Not bad. It controls really well. With the weight of the chainsaw on the front, it tilts the boat forward a little, and this brings the propeller closer to the surface of the water, which causes it to suck in more air. In boat terms, this is known as ventilation. The important part of that is it causes a loss of thrust, which causes a loss of speed and controllability. On our next build, we'll drop the motor a little lower into the water, so hopefully this doesn't happen. But for now, we're gonna push ahead. All right, this is our first victim. It doesn't work, don't worry. We're not throwing away a good boat. We're gonna see if we can cut it in half. All right. Whoa, my goodness. All right, raise it. Now go back at it. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's working. Oh man, that's insane. That's insane. That's insane. Disaster struck. It's sinking. Oh my goodness, it's sinking. The pool got sliced. We're still good though. The top layer can go. When it really grabs a hold of the boat, it just does so much more damage. If you pay close attention to these slow motion shots, you can see the flexible linkage is doing exactly what it's designed to do. But we may want to stiffen it up just a little bit so it can bite harder because it bounces more than I wanted. We're also pushing the opponent underwater, which I suppose is one way to sink it. But we want to cut this thing in half. So we need to add another stop underneath the hull that traps our opponent in place so we can take a nice clean cut. We also need to not use an inflatable pool for our battleground because that's just never going to survive the battle boats. So we'll probably go with something like a metal stock tank that will survive anything we throw at it. I mean, if you look at it, this boat's completely chewed up. There's pieces taken out everywhere. We want this thing to be next level. I want this boat fully separated from front to back. So we're gonna make a few tweaks and we're going to design the second battle boat. That's right, we need a second battle boat because obviously we need another real opponent to go head to head in battle boats. Let us know if you have any awesome ideas on what we should test for part 2, and we'll be back soon. Thanks for watching.